How you doing, folks? You're watching Onward with Onrie Live. I'm your host, Onrie Kompan, and today we're going to be talking about positive preparation for events, things that you go to where you showcase your products or give a big presentation. And I always find it that when I'm starting out, like a couple days before an event, that's when I get the most nervous because I don't know what's going to happen next. And I think that having the right frame of mind is very important. But sometimes there are things that occur in our lives that kind of keep us from getting there. And I'll give you an example of that. So tomorrow I'm going to be making an 8-hour trek by car to Kansas City. This is going to kick off the 2018 convention season for SOON SHIN and MARX. And honestly, I'm very excited about it. I know that we're going to do very well out there. Kansas City has always been a very good place for us to get our work out there. Planet Kompan has been fantastic. Every time we've shown up there, we have sold out. I have no doubt that if things haven't changed, that everything will go according to plan. But see, that's exactly the point, is you just never know. And I think that when we're preparing for something, we're so focused on what we're trying to achieve that it's easy to get ourselves, to talk ourselves into thinking that we can't do it. And as a matter of fact, I actually had a dream just last night that I set up at Planet Kompan and I didn't sell anything in the first day. And that is a fear that I have. Even though I've gone to all these conventions and have sold out, it doesn't escape me that maybe, things could change, or that, my luck could run out at me at any point. I mean, that is a constant fear that every business owner faces. And the best way to conquer that is to keep yourself in a positive state of mind. Think about the things that you're trying to do. Think about how you've prepared yourself, and build yourself up. It's very easy to break yourself down. That's easy. We do that every day. We always think to ourselves, man, I shouldn't have done this, or, I made a mistake here. Why did I do that? We could spend all our lives breaking ourselves down. And there are plenty of people that will help with that. There are people out there who, doubt whether or not you can do something. And it's up to you to build yourself up enough to the point where you can prove, yourself and all those people who might, feel like you can't do it wrong, And that's one of the challenges that comes with it. And, when you're not feeling motivated yourself, and to be honest with you, I don't know how motivated I'm feeling right now. I mean, it's kind of tough. It's been 3 months, and the last convention experience I had did not go as well as I had hoped. I was in LA for my last convention, and it took me extra time to get to the convention because LA traffic fucking sucks. I got stuck in horrible traffic. I missed my exit, and out there, if you miss your exit, it's like you're gonna add an extra 30 minutes to your commute. It's literally that bad, and especially with the traffic out there and how congested it was awful. So by the time I got to the convention center, and by the time I loaded everything up onto my dolly, I noticed that the dolly I had rented had flat tires. And I had to go across a really busy street to bring my product to the convention floor. And while I was pushing it, all my boxes fell off. Not once, but 3 fucking times. Everything fell off. And we're talking like big-ass boxes that each weigh 60 pounds, all right? This is heavy stuff here. And, it's all falling off, and I have to keep picking it up. So I keep doing it. And people around me saw that I was having a hard time. They were trying to help me out. And then finally, on that 3rd time, I lost it. And that never happens. I never lose my shit. I always try and keep myself composed to the point where, I can handle it. Because, I'm getting rejected all day when I go to conventions. It's not like I go in there and every person that I pitch buys my book. I go through numerous rejections in order to get that one yes. So, going into the show, I was already kind of like losing my nerve, losing my temper. And, I dropped, the books fell off the dolly, and I just took the dolly and I slammed it. I threw it, and someone tripped over it and almost fell over. And I could have hurt someone because I was so focused on what was going in here that I wasn't looking at what was going on around me. It was completely 100% my fault. As soon as I realized what I had done, someone else had, helped this woman back up on her feet, and I came up to her and I said, I am so sorry. I lost my temper. I was not trying to harm you in any way. And she was totally cool about it. But I fucked up right there, and that's something you have to keep in mind. And you don't know what's waiting for you when you get out there. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. All you can do is try and keep yourself cool. And I have to admit that after that last show, I really needed a break. I went to New York Comic Con a couple weeks before that. I just successfully completed the 1500 comic book battle for the second time. That was a really, difficult show for me, building it up, and all the events pertaining and surrounding that, that convention was also difficult because the Las Vegas shooting happened on the same week, leading into New York Comic Con. So security was tighter. Everybody was on edge. Everybody was nervous, and it's understandable why, but these things all have an effect. And I just wanted my convention season to be over. I actually went into that show with the mindset of, I can do this show in my sleep. And it turned out that I had to work harder. I had to push myself harder. I had to think. I had to change things up. And I underestimated that show. And after that, I needed time to kind of get back. And now 3 months have passed, and I've gotten plenty of rest. I've been at home too much now. I'm ready to get back out there and sell some books. All I've been doing for the last couple months is planning and reprinting stuff and keeping my team working and things like that. And that's all stuff I do during the year as well. I really, want to get out there now and get back to it. But, after the experience I had last time, it's kind of left like a little bit of scarring behind it, and it's making me maybe doubt myself a little bit. But you see, that's the important thing, is that I can recognize that. And it's important that you take a step back and recognize that too, because that is how you can keep yourself from being broken apart. You say, look, you can't win them all. Sometimes some conventions are bad, sometimes they're good. You just have to realize that you're moving in the right direction. What you're doing is the right thing. And if you'll know that by the results you have, and I know this because people are buying the book and reading it. Are there people who don't like SOON SHIN? Sure. There are people who don't like SOON SHIN. There's people who don't like anything. You can't change that. It's an unfortunate thing, but if everybody loved everything, then no one would have any problems going out there and selling their work and putting themselves out there like that. So, I think it's important for you to realize that you are of value. When you put something out there and you put your heart into it and you get out there and you present it to your audience, you are showing people that you can do what 90% of other people are too afraid to do. Because I meet so many people who tell me, man, you work in comics? I want to do my own comic. I got this great idea for a comic. And that's great. You can have an idea. Everybody's got an idea for a fucking comic. Everybody is a goddamn writer, right? But unless you're actually out there doing it, you're not doing it. You're doing your own thing, and that's cool. I'm not passing any judgment on someone who's got that comic book idea but hasn't had the means to get it out there yet. This all takes time. It took me about 2 years before I could actually start to write SOON SHIN. I actually was doing research and studying, different comic books and looking at different art styles, trying to figure out what I wanted, what I envisioned for the series before I actually started working on it. And that's totally cool. I mean, you can't just jump into something. And I find it that when people do that, when they just jump into something, some people find success doing it. It's like, you're jumping in blind, you're giving shit a chance, and, you're going to see how it works out. But in other cases, in my case in particular, I want to actually plan stuff out. I actually want to think about what I'm doing before I do it. And sometimes people look at that and they're like, you're taking too much time. But you know what? I know how much time it takes. And I can tell you this. Anytime I've tried to look for shortcuts, anytime I've tried to speed things up or tried to move past something quicker, it's only slowed me down more. So now I try and look at things more methodically. I try and look for strategies that are going to help me progress. And that's what the off season has been for me. It's allowed me to do that. So now going back into the convention season, going into the show tomorrow, I know that I planned everything out. I've set goals that I know I can meet. I'm not trying to raise the bar in a sense that it's impossible, because if I do that, I'm going to be nervous now. I'm going to be nervous that I may not do it. And it's good to be nervous. You're going to be nervous no matter what. I'm nervous before every single convention. I have no idea if I'm going to sell out this weekend. I hope I will, but I don't know. It's all going to be dependent on how I work the show floor and how people respond to me working the show floor. So, I mean, I have no idea where I'm positioned. I'll find out when I get there. I have no idea how many people are going to be attending, you know, the show. I hope that it'll be just as good as it was in the previous years. I hope that everybody who comes will be, you know, interested in what I have to offer, and, you know, that things will be all right. But I know that I'm going to go in there and bring my A game. And that's the only thing that you can do in these situations is bring your A game. Go in there and do the best you possibly can. And, you know, if you're lucky, you'll succeed. And if not, you just go back and you try again. You know, it's totally cool. Another thing I want to say about, you know, being positive is it's also a front you have to put on. You know, the second I get onto the convention floor, I have to put my problems behind me. And it's much easier to do that, you know, no matter what you're preparing for. Like, you know, let's say you're a fighter and you're preparing for a big boxing fight. You know, you're learning all about your opponent in advance. You're studying your opponent. You're looking at, you know, different strategies on how to you're looking for weaknesses. You're looking for openings. But you're also, you know, you're studying him so much that you can become intimidated by your opponent, especially if he's got a great record or something like that, right? So if you're going up against your opponent, you know, preparing for that battle, that's the challenge. I think that's the hardest thing. When you're in the heat of combat, you're focused, you know, and that can apply to anything. It can apply to you having to give a big presentation at work. You know, you might get nervous preparing for it because you're going to be talking to a room full of people, like 100 people, and you've never done that before. Maybe you're nervous about it, you know, but once you're out there and you're doing it, everything will fall into place, you know. So it's important to remember that, you know, that this too shall pass, and you'll get through it. And then, you know, the next challenge will come and you'll be better prepared for it. You'll be a better person for doing it. And this is all about facing your fears. It's all about getting out there and just, you know, saying, I'm not afraid to do this. You know, if I fall flat on my face, I'll get back up, I'll dust myself off, and I'll try again. You know, it's possible. You know, you don't have to always win, you know, and if you do win consistently, find new ways to challenge yourself. And that's, you know, that's something I'm doing right now, you know, like adding marks to my, you know, to my selling roster. That's a new challenge for me. I don't know how to sell this book yet. I'll figure it out as I go. Hopefully it'll be natural, but if it's not, then it's not. I can't change it. You know, I can't force things and make them what I envision. All I can do is my best. All I can do is control my own actions when I go into battle. And that's the same thing. The same thing applies to anything you do, whether it's in sales, whether it's in, you know, healthcare or whatever, you know, like a doctor, for example. A doctor is a great example of this. A doctor can't guarantee that his patient is going to walk out of the hospital 100% better. He can't guarantee that he'll fix a problem. He can just do his best. He can just use his knowledge. He can just make the best decisions that he can based on the knowledge base that he has. So these are all things to consider. And hopefully I'll be lucky this weekend and I'll be able to you know, surpass my own expectations. And if I can't, then, you know, there's always the next show. And speaking of the next show, it's coming right up, Emerald City Comic-Con, and I'll be back here next week. And just to kind of give you a little bit of a tour, because I promised you guys I'd show you my area where I package up books. This is where I am right now. So this is my room here where I keep all my books. So I got a few books right here, and I'm going to be packaging them up for the next couple hours. And then I keep all my T-shirts here, and I got, you know, packaging materials here. These are, you know, Fallen Avenger books. This is all we got left of Warrior and Defender. So as soon as whatever is sold from here on back is gone, we're out of stock on that, and that's why I'm reprinting it now. This is actually just enough books to get me through the next, I want to say 7 conventions, and that's it. You know, that book is out of print. And then, you know, I got my boxes here for shipping, and, you know, that's it. So you guys are going to be seeing me here a lot more, you know, as the convention season progresses. And, you know, I'll be preparing for everything and, you know, sharing my experiences with you guys. And hopefully this weekend, if we sell out, I'm going to have my first victory report. From now on, whenever I sell out at conventions, I'm going to go live and, you know, spread the word on Facebook Live through another spinoff that I have called the Victory Report. So we'll see if we can pull it off, then I'll do it. So we'll see you next time. Onward to victory.